Hello, my name is Helen Toomer and I am the curator of the 14th Annual Hudson Valley Artist Show here at the Dorsky Museum in New Paltz. I am also the founder of Stoneleaf Retreat. Stoneleaf Retreat is an artist residency and connective space focused on supporting women and families just outside of Kingston here upstate. I'm also co-founder of the Art Mamas Alliance, which is a supportive group for parents in the arts, and also the founder of Upstate Art Weekend, which is having its second edition at the end of August this month. So I hope that you can join us and come and see the show here. The show is called Who Really Cares? This line is taken from the monumental album by Marvin Gaye, What's Going On. It's taken from the song Save the Children. And when Anna, who is the director of the Dorsky Museum, when she asked me to curate this show, this was the first line that came into my mind. It's like, who really cares? Obviously, I was asked to curate this show in the middle of a pandemic. It's been obviously an incredibly heavy year for so many reasons, for so many people, and the fact that we've been all weathering the same storm but in different boats. So really thinking about who really cares, how can we care for each other when there's so much turmoil, and the turmoil has been amplified from obviously the pandemic and so many deaths, but also the fight for racial justice, the murder of George Floyd. So there's been so much turmoil. So this show incorporates about 29 local artists that I chose from about 380 applications. So it was overwhelming, as there's so many great artworks, so many powerful artworks. So I tried to curate this show as a reflection on this year. And I'm asking people who come here, I want you to ask yourself, like, who really cares? How do you care? Who do you care for? And I want this to be a connective exhibition for it to spark conversation, big conversations within families, within peers, friends, about who do you care for, who do you fight for. We're going to talk a lot about the Black Lives Matter movement and the works, a lot of works here that is focused on social justice. And then you've also got works that are focused on domesticity, the trappings of domesticity, as I said in the press release, because, you know, I don't know, like me, I was trapped in my house, very fortunate that myself, my husband, and my child were safe, but trapped nonetheless, separated from loved ones. So that was incredibly difficult. And so I'm going to talk about the work behind me because it is a year. It's by Sharon Bates, and as soon as I saw this work, I knew that it needed to be in the show. It is essentially the lint that she recovered from her dryer every month from March 2020 down here to February 21. So she collected the lint and then encased it and flattened it in the delivery boxes, right? Because we were all getting everything delivered. So this really reminds me, one, I kind of like laughed because I was like, oh, yes, this is what I've been doing the whole time. But also the weight of it, just to see it there, I feel like they're such markers of time. They're like gravestones to me. They're like graphs of the deaths as well. And all the people that we've lost, and the color, and the weight, and the gray. So this is an incredibly powerful piece that I wanted to start off, and kind of, it really spotlights the domestic theme within this show. This is G's Bend Quilter Mini by Ransom. This is the first work that I want you to see when you come in the show. I want you to see and appreciate and respect Minnie. She really ties the entire show together. Ransom said he painted a tree of life around her, and she's kind of emerged from this change. I think she's incredibly powerful Black women, and I think as a society we overlook Black women. And I wanted wanted her, the representation of powerful black women, to be at the forefront of this exhibition, and I'm ever so grateful that Ransom created Minnie for us. Minnie isn't the only artwork by Ransom. There are also two other incredibly powerful paintings that are bookending a lot of photographs here. Photographs by Gina Randazzo, Ocean Morissette, Maureen Drennan, and Randy Calderon. And I thought it was incredibly important to include these images. A lot of them are taken from this past year, from the marches, the fight for racial justice, especially after the murder of George Floyd. And I thought it's so important to have representation here, that children who are coming in and visiting the museum can see this and talk about it, like with their families, if they had not been aware of what was going on. A lot of us have seen this imagery, you know, and been part of these protests, but just because the urgency has gone, it doesn't mean that we should stop fighting, so I wanted it to continue. So the photographs here are really powerful, and I think have a wonderful relationship to each other, and in supporting the communities of color here. Another artist whose works I wanted to talk about was Vernon M Byron III. These works are adjoining the wall that we just talked about. I'm going to read what he has said about these works because I think that it's incredibly powerful, and he's much more articulate about it than I am. So he states that the images taken of roadkill are parallel with the casual violence that people of color are continually subjected to. By interlacing these images with those of slain black bodies and systematically folding the paper's surface, they develop a dimensional quality that visually embodies that sense of dissonance. This is Karl Growler's The Deposition. This is a very layered, loaded piece. It's a reference on the deposition of Christ, but obviously it's the Statue of Liberty, who is being supported by these trans women of color who were instrumental in the Stonewall riots. The loss of Lady Liberty is being mourned by Dorothy and her compatriots, also referencing in the queer community, like, are you a friend of Dorothy, to be able to identify your queer compadres. And I think it's really important for children to see this, for people to see it. And I think that we just invite everybody to come and really spend time with this work. This work is by Liz Nielsen. It's called Vacation Portal, and it is exactly that. It takes me away. And when I saw it in the submissions, it was when we couldn't go anywhere, and I was dreaming about being on a beach in Greece, or just fantasizing about getting on a plane again and seeing my family, or going somewhere else other than the rooms in my house. So this bright, colorful, beautiful piece brought me joy, and I think continues to bring joy. So yeah, we love it. These three works are by Paul Mayamato. When I saw them, these are beautiful works, and they reminded me of some of the things that I'd seen, the immigrant workers' housing here in the Hudson Valley, and actually they're referencing his parents that were in Japanese internment camps. So the commentary on immigrants here and the continued labor that we still see in the Hudson Valley, encased in these beautiful paintings. And then next to it we have a beautiful material piece that was sewn together, collaboratively made between Natalie Baxter and Julian Norton, with all homemade dyes. You know how they were saying that they saw like a lot of like sauerkraut making, you know, and kind of people kind of using like what they could have access to, and they created this kind of powerful motif of home life, and yeah, it's really beautiful to look at. And that's kind of one of the other things. These works are really beautiful to look at, but once you start peeling the layers away, there's so much more there, and that's really what we want. We want people to be able to have conversations about them. This work, You, Me, and Us, is by Macon Reed. Macon is an artist who I've worked with before. She was one of our first artists in residence at Stoneleaf back in 2017. And she also has a big mural at Stoneleaf Retreat, which you can come and see during Upstate Art Weekend. So I love Macon's work because she kind of pulls you in with the bright colors and the palette, but really she's dealing with huge issues, right? These are 3 gravestones. This is about death. This is essentially about, at the end of it, we're all just dirt. We are all the same. So we have to look out for each other. And I really want this to be a colorful yet powerful reminder of that. These 3 works are by Kristen Scheel. They are kind of referencing the femme terribles, but I kind of see them as really welcoming figures. And that's something that I was thinking about a lot during the pandemic, about how we've been separated from our loved ones, how we've been separated from seeing and experiencing and feeling art again. So I really encourage you to come and visit this show before it ends on November 14th, and especially during Upstate Art Weekends, there'll be some incredible programming going on at the end of August. And another reason why I love these works so much is I'm a big hugger. Those who know me know that I love to hug. And when I saw these, and I missed hugs, and I was thinking about this exhibition, like really bringing people together, and it feeling like a big hug. I mean, it's a weighty exhibition. There's a lot in here, but I really want you to leave feeling like you've had a big warm embrace. So I hope that you feel that. And as I always say, see art, feel better. So I hope you do. Thanks.
God, I need a drink.